welcome to 355. I am your host, Keith Andrew, along here with the talented and beautiful Paisley BlackBurn, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you for having me.
For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something. That labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You should prove to them, #break the labels. And we have a special guest today. Her name is Ms. Fifi. She's just having a panic attack because we're having a midst of a rainstorm. I used to act like that too. Actually, I still do. When we have thunderstorms at night, say about like 9, 10, I turn everything off. I was like, screw it, I'm going to sleep. Whatever I have to do now, I can do tomorrow. So,
all right.
So Fifi's like the dog version of me. I'm sweet, I'm loyal, I'm affectionate, but we both hate thunderstorms, so I guess we make a good pair. With that being said, half hour, 45 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, talk about whatever you want. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm an actress and a model, and I also am a single mother. So it's hard. You know, I have to balance, because I work a day job at a factory as a die cutter. And I balance that with trying to have my daughter and then do my modeling and film commitments on the weekend. But I'm very committed, so I do make it work. It's just, I don't have a lot of free time. Free time is something, I don't even know what that is anymore. I wish I did. I got a pretty bubbly personality, very good work ethic. So, you know, even when I'm at the factory and stuff, we all have a lot of fun. Wanting to transition to being a working actor, and that is doable. You can do that in the Midwest. Sorry about that. You can do that in the Midwest. You just got to find the right route to do that, you know. So I'll probably end up moving to a bigger city from where I live now, because I feel like that would be a good step career-wise, you know, and puts me with all of my friends who are in the acting community as well. Because where I live now, there's really not a lot of that going on. Yeah, it gets lonely sometimes, you know. Kind of lead a solitary life. I don't really go out much. I don't have time to.
Hey, at least you're supporting your cause and making a new friend, so that's a win.
Yeah, it's a great life. I mean, it's crazy. It's chaotic at times. I wouldn't change it for the world. Last night, I got to go to see the premiere for Submerge Echo 51, where I play the alien General Luma. And it was a great showing. It was sold out. All my friends were there. New people were there that we were meeting. We did photos and stuff. But I couldn't stick around for too long. I had to come back because I had to go to work today. But you travel a lot when you're acting and stuff. You have to be willing to travel a lot. That's how you get opportunities and things like that. And for the longest time, I had nothing but these beater cars that I was terrified to drive because I didn't know if they were just going to break down on the side of the road. You know, it's like you're wondering that on a 4-hour trip, is it going to break down? It's going to break down. But now I've got a more reliable car, so I don't feel as terrified anymore. So, yeah, that's kind of, that pretty much sums up my life. I don't, like I said, I don't have a lot of free time. I wish I did, maybe, but I'm always preparing for movie roles or doing stuff with my daughter and stuff. And it's very hard. You know, I try very hard not to bring her to film sets because she's 7. And I can tell you right now, she's not going to like it. If you've ever been on a film set, it can be kind of boring and whatnot. But so I got her a tablet. I do my best to schedule them so she's not going to be there. Unfortunately, for my upcoming project Confusion 3, to get it done in the time frame they wanted, I had to say, yes, I can do that day if my daughter can come with me. And hopefully, as long as if somebody brings their children for her to play with, she's usually fine, you know. But you know how kids are. Their attention span is like what you and I go through. They just can't stay focused. And then next thing I know, she's on her tablet, and then she's telling me all about her video games, like Five Nights at Freddy's, which I wasn't too keen on that one at first because she showed me a music video and it was like really like kill, kill, kill. And I was like, okay, no, we ain't having none of that. Get that off your tablet. She starts bawling. And but you know, my boyfriend was here and he had said that the game itself was not bad.
Yeah.
So after she calmed down the next day, I said, Ragamuffin, look, why didn't you just show me the game? That's all I wanted to see is what you were playing. You know, he had done said the game wasn't that bad. So she said, all right, I'll put it on there for you. And then I was looking at it and it said, it comes with jump scares and all this. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't want something jumping out at me. But it wasn't that bad. It was fun. I mean, for her, I mean, it wouldn't hold my interest for very long. Again, we have that focus issue going on. So, you know, so that kind of sums that up.
No, I'm the same way. I'll give you a perfect example. When I was younger, I used to play with my wrestling toys. And I used to reenact what's on the TV with the toy. So, for an example, if it was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels would win, I would reenact the move. Shawn Michaels does a Super X, I do a Super X. Bret Hart does a DDT, I do the DDT. Now, I just watch for the women. Because it's really bad, it's really not the same. Thank God the women got better over the years. Because because women wrestling, it's like kind of watching your grandmothers wrestle. it was bad. I have enough issues.
Right?
And so, you know, women wrestling today, it's really great. It's really amazing. And they're getting the push. They're getting the main event spots like the guys. And it's about time that they do it. You know, it's no reason to be sexist. And without going on a tangent, basically, if the wrestling is good and I'm really focused about it, I can watch like for an hour and a half. But now it's like 3 hours. I'm like, yep, can't do it.
Yeah, it's funny. Long movies, it's got to be a really good movie for me to sit still that long. I mean, because I do think, actually, before I was diagnosed with bipolar 1, I honestly thought I was simply ADHD. Because what happens with that is I'll be talking to someone, there'll be a transition up here that I will not voice, but I'll just move into that, you know, like, I'll say, oh, you know, that's a nice gray sweater. Oh, you know, that 50 Shades of Grey book I'm going to probably read. Or, you know, just transition, but there's nothing that they see connecting a transition. So it was very normal for me to think I was ADHD. Matter of fact, I did see a doctor about it, and I'm not big into pharmaceuticals. I'm really not. I had issues with that before, and I just don't care to go through those issues, but she prescribed Adderall. And I said, I don't need the highest dose because I don't know what this will do. And then I got home and I did a little research on it. And I said to myself, I'm not taking this. It's got amphetamine in it. And I was like, I'm already hyper as it is. Wouldn't this just jack me up even more? But I don't know. Everybody I've talked to that actually takes it, that needs it, says it actually calms you down. So I don't know. But with the bipolar 1, it's mostly manic. So the symptoms are very similar. You know, very fast, talk fast and stuff. In fact, it isn't uncommon for a director to say to me, wait, stop, slow it down. Because I got to, you know, you do everything very slow and very deliberate. So because of my training, I've learned how to do that. Just kind of jump from the peppy off the hook here and then just slow it down for film. But it was hard. It was very hard at first. You know, it's one of those things. It's just a skill that you hone. And things like that. But there's some people I know that are ADHD like us, and you know they do take medicine. They say it helps them. I'm not big into pharmaceuticals. That's just my personal stance. And there are reasons for that. I just would prefer to try and combat it naturally, if at all possible. But I do have really bad insomnia, very bad. I don't think I've gotten 8 hours of sleep in probably 3 years, and I do have a bipolar medicine. I don't take it except when I have been up for too long and I just need to sleep. Because, I mean, they've tried different things. They tried Ambien, a sedative hypnotic, and that does nothing for me. It'll knock me out, sure. It'll get me to sleep, but then 3 hours later I'm wide-eyed and alert. And it's like when you have to go to work, an 8-hour shift, and And die cutting it's a machine that you're working on. It's very physical. You're dealing with a lot of tooling that you're carrying off the machine and onto the machine down the steps. So when you're really tired, you can imagine how bad that plays out. So I got busted one time starting to fall asleep on the job, and they wanted me to go home, and I said, wait, I'll just stand up and talk to Fred, and I think we'll be all right. And that worked, but it's hard. A lot of times when I'm trying to sleep, I get racing thoughts. Do you get that too? Like they just won't stop. They just keep racing and racing, and they won't stop. And
sometimes you just have to tune it out.
It's hard, but yeah, it can be done. It can definitely be done. I'm thinking you're probably living proof of that, and maybe you could offer some helpful tips. Because I'm thinking it's doable. It's just, I mean, like I said, I just don't like to take pills, so I try to cope with it the best way I can. And sometimes if I've been up for a few days straight, with very little sleep, then I'll just crash. My body will just crash. But for the most part, I don't honestly know what would have happened if I had taken the Adderall. I really don't, because I was told if you actually don't need it, I think it makes you wired where you just don't sleep at all. So I don't know. I never took it. I just turned it in at the station you go put your unused medicines in.
Don't mind me. I'm just looking at my list of questions.
No, ask away. I will answer.
Well, this one's kind of fits both of us. White noise. How do you go to sleep? Do you go to sleep in complete emptiness, or do you have to have something running?
The way I do go to sleep is I wear earplugs. If I don't have the earplugs, I can guarantee you I'm not going to sleep. I don't really watch. Yeah, that sounds real great. I'm an actor and I don't even watch TV. I honestly don't. Usually I'll be checking something online, like reading a story or something, and that'll make me fall asleep. But I do believe the doctors have said that that's not a good practice because of the lights coming off of the computer and everything will help keep you up. So I do have I'll show you. I have little books of it here. Like something like this, I'll just start to read it, and actually starting to read it, I have trouble focusing as well. Like I'll just keep reading the same sentence over and over again, and eventually it just makes me tired. But like there are some of my favorite authors I wouldn't read if I really want to sleep, like a Stephen King book. Ain't gonna be putting you to sleep. That's because he's such a good writer. It's gonna keep you wired and want to see what the next page is in store for you. So usually I just, like I said, wear the earplugs. I might take an over-the-counter medicine. That's a 50-50. It may help, it may not, but it's worth a shot if I really need the sleep. And sometimes if my thoughts are racing, to take my mind off of the racing thoughts, I'll grab, a book or something like that and start reading. Usually it'll help me fall asleep. The problem has never been falling asleep. It's staying asleep. That's where my issue is, and that's probably why I'm going to have to go see a sleep specialist soon about it and see what we can figure out and see if we can solve the problem, because, it's hard when you're trying to do so much like I do, single mom, working full-time during the week, then working on films and modeling on the weekends. You never have a lot of downtime to fall asleep. So that's on me, though. I stay busy. That's my choice. So I need to figure out a better way of trying to go to sleep, and maybe the sleep specialist might be able to help with that. I don't know. Or maybe you have some helpful hints.
Well, for me, when I was younger, one reason my brother doesn't like sharing a room with me anymore is I always went to sleep with the TV on. And the few times I do turn the TV on, I fall asleep. So that can work. That can definitely work. And I think it was about, I'm trying to think of it, it was 97 or 98 or something. And I woke up and I was, couldn't sleep. I turned the TV off. Long story short, my sister moved out. There's an empty room. And my brother, so the three of us don't have to share the room. We have an empty room. So when my sister went to college, I had the room. Don't ask. My brothers were a pain in the asses. And so basically, so one night I woke up and the TV was on and I turned it off. I'm like, the room is nice and dark. and I felt like to sleep. Now I go to sleep with a night mask. And I don't know if you believe in life after death. That's the next question I was going to ask you. Is I got a visitor. I don't know who it was or what it was. It was, for people who want to know what I went through, get a flashlight, put it in your face. Close it one eye, close the other eye. That's all I saw. I put my hands over my eyes, still sore. I went like this, again, still sore. I put my face in the blanket, and I went to still sore. I went, what the hell? I can't make this thing disappear, so I went like this, and I swear to God, it felt like I elbowed somebody. But there was no one in the room because the door was locked. I lock the door when I go to sleep because I don't like people barging in. So I was in the room by myself, and I went like this, and I felt like I elbowed someone. So since then, I was like, you know what? When I go to sleep, I want my night mask.
Right, yeah.
Especially during thunderstorms, too.
Yeah, I definitely believe in the supernatural. Definitely. I've had experiences with that and stuff. In fact, your next question was, do I believe in life after death?
Yeah.
I firmly believe in reincarnation. Without a doubt, I do believe our souls are reincarnated because, obviously, I'm not African American, but when I was studying history, when I would read the stories of like things that was done to them back in that time, when they were hung and stuff, I'd get goosebumps all over my arms and I'd just start bawling for no reason, like my best friend just died. And that's never changed. So I do think that we do live other lives. I can't prove it. I'm just saying this is a theory. My daughter, I'll give you an example. Okay, I curse like a sailor. Hey, I'm Italian. Okay, my dad, I can thank him for that. But my daughter, when she busts me cussing, she'll ask me to please not cuss. Usually kids follow along whatever the parents do, but she doesn't do that. And there's other things she'll do. There are times when there's a little bit of a grown-up part of her, and I even joke with her. I said, I think you were a priest in a past life. Because she's just so fiercely against cussing. I don't know if she busts her dad's chops the way she busts mine, but I always apologize to her because I try my best not to do it. And if I'm in a movie where there's cussing, she'll cut me slack on that. She'll say, did you have to cuss in the movie? Yes, but I didn't write the word. Somebody else did. I just had to say whatever I was told to say, and she'll be all right with it. So I definitely believe in stuff like that. Yes, completely.
Here's another funny, not really a funny story. They say children and babies can see spirits. Do you agree with that?
They see spirits?
Yes.
Yes. I do believe that children and pets can see spirits. I think when I was younger, I had that ability, but then when you get afraid of it, as you get older, that blocks that part of your mind. But there's something innocent about a child. They haven't been corrupted yet. They're more open to anything and everything around them. There's a little cemetery called Little Egypt that when my ex-boyfriend and his son would go drive through sometimes, it was very well known for being haunted. And some weird stuff would happen. Something would go knocking on the side of the door, and I'd turn around and say, Chase, don't be hitting the door. And he's like, I didn't. And then we get back, there'd be handprints all over the car. And then one time, because it was winter time, and you know how cold winter gets, for us in the Midwest and North and stuff, their word help was written on it. And that just gave me chills on my arm. So I definitely think kids and pets, things that are innocent in nature, can see that stuff that we can't. They're more open to it. They haven't been conditioned not to believe in it.
It's funny, but it's not funny. My grandmother passed away, and on the day of the funeral, we didn't want my grandfather alone. So my mom and my aunt went out and got my grandfather a dog. So he just lost his wife. It's like, okay, I know Grandma passed away, but good news for you, here's a dog. So they got a dog, and his name is Benny. And there would be times where my grandfather would be in the house with the dog, and he would be in the kitchen. Even though the house was haunted, that's another story. I don't know if you want to know it. But basically, he would be in the kitchen, and Ben would absolutely refused to go into the kitchen because he knew someone else was in there, and it was kind of like a barrier. And when he finally got in, he would hunch to the ground. He would use to sneak in, but it was weird. But my grandparents' house was haunted. Basically, a long story about that. I promise I will shut up, and this is your time after all. Don't mind me, that's at an itch. My dog saw me, she's making me a nose itch. When my grandparents wanted a house, they said it's a nice house. The reason they wanted it is because my aunt lived around the corner, and there was a sidewalk. So my cousin could have walked from her house down the block to my grandparents' house. That's why they wanted it. Also, it had a canal in the backyard. So those were the two selling points, the sidewalk and the canal. What they didn't tell you was the house was haunted because there was a murder in the house.
Oh.
So basically,
but I thought by law, don't they have to disclose that information?
Well, my dog just drooled on me. That's why I was doing that. I was like, thanks, Fifi. So basically, they couldn't find the house. They found the house, but they couldn't find the keys. But there was someone there, and my gift is, besides being disabled, my gift is I can understand animals. People think I'm crazy, but I understand dogs. For an example, when I ask someone, I work in a toy store, and they bring dogs by. It's like, oh, can I pet the dog? It's like, oh, the dog has a sniffy. And I swear to God, the dog would say to me, "Arr-row-row-row." And I heard it clear as day. The dog just said to me, "I don't know you." And I thought that was just like a one-time thing. But then another dog said it. It's like, well, I guess I have a special gift if I understand animals. So basically, long story short, there's a guy passed away in the house. My grandparents didn't know about it, or they were completely oblivious to it, because if they knew, they would have never bought the house. So my sister named him Max, and my mom thought she was crazy, until one night where my sister fell asleep, and it's like, hey, are you awake? And my mom felt unnerved. Can you give me 1 second? It's the starting floor of my room. Alright, sorry about that. Hey, anything can happen live. Alright, so basically, my sister named him Max, and my mom said good night. She turned off the light, and not even 2 minutes after, when she turned off the light, she felt someone hover over him, like I'm standing over you, and she heard, good night. And it's like, good night, and she put a blanket over her head.
Right.
And it's kind of, well, like that, it's kind of, even though we're energy and you can't destroy energy, energy can always be transformed in one form or another.
Energy is neither created nor destroyed. So that, I think we're on the right track. I really do think there's something else for us, and I do believe in ghosts. I've seen stuff, and witnessed stuff. My mother was, the spirits were always attracted to her. I know when her mom and dad had passed away, they've, if you go by what she says, which I have no reason to think she's telling a lie, that they visited her, because there was some weird stuff in that one house we lived in. I would hear noises all night long, and it would scare me. I'd go run into my brother's room, and he would start locking his door, and I figured out a way to open it with a Q-tip, because I just sleep on his floor. I was just, because whatever it was, it's like my parents, they had these lamps that to turn them on, you touch them.
Yeah.
Like, there was one night when they all came on, and I'm watching this from my bedroom. I see nobody. I hear whispering. Then I hear like a big bang, like something, like a mirror fell and broke. So, of course, I go running like a little pansy in my brother's room and go to sleep. Well, the next day, I'm telling my parents, And they looked around, nothing was broken. I said, I'm telling you guys, I'm not making this up. I've been under no influence of anything. I heard something. So there's definitely something going on. And yes, I like I said, I believe in all that stuff, and the supernatural is always fascinated me. I remember actually when I was in middle school, I did a term paper on the paranormal. That's how interesting it was to me. I always wanted to go on ghost tours. I haven't done that yet, but again, the time issue, but I really do want to do that one day. I actually wanted to book the Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast, because I know that's reputed to be extremely haunted, but you got to book that like 2 years in advance. So I said, oh, well, we might have to wait on that. So,
well, while on the subject, do you believe, and it's kind of funny, because even rabbis think, because my dad works in a yeshiva, even the rabbis said he's a real deal, but I like your opinion. Do you believe in John Edwards?
I know who you're talking about, the crossing over with John Edwards.
Not the guy who had an affair.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Making a joke.
That's actually a tough one for me, because if they're really good, if somebody knows how to read people really good, they can work it so they act like, so you believe that they know more than they really do. With John, I haven't researched him a lot, but I know who you're talking about, and I was fascinated for a while there. I wanted to, go to one of his shows and everything. My sister actually went, not to his show, but somebody that's in the same field as him, that does the same thing. And her son was killed. My nephew was killed when he was 20. It was a very tragic accident. And they knew stuff. They were telling my sister stuff that, Justin had talked to them and stuff. I don't know if it's true, but I know that they knew stuff that nobody else could have possibly known. I mean, what happened to Justin shouldn't have happened. And his spirit, actually, my brother Jeff was dating a girl at the time that, didn't really treat him very nice. And I guess a couple days after he died in that accident, his spirit went up to her and said, "You better be nice to my uncle." Just haunted her the whole night, because she woke up and told, the next day she told Jeff, and then he called my mom and told her. And I said, I believe it. I believe Justin would do something like that. He was very tight with my brother. They were like, Jeff was like his little hero. So, my older brother just died in November, and he was big into this. Well, he could do astral projection and things like that. He could do all that, tarot readings, because I'm Wiccan, earth, air, wind, fire, and earth, air, fire, water. Did I say water? The 4 elements. The fifth point is spirit, but because I haven't practiced in a while, but I've often wanted to call my sister or my mom and say, has his spirit, especially my mother, because they just attracted her, and say, has he, contacted you or whatever. I might actually do that. The thing with Jimmy, though, what's sad is he was very unhappy with life. He was bipolar, but he was addicted to painkillers and alcohol and stuff. But the painkillers he was prescribed. That's one of the reasons I'm very anti-pharmaceutical, because he wasn't taking care of himself. And ultimately, my brother Jeff just could tell by looking at him he was probably not going to live another year. And within a year, he had died. So addiction is a big thing with bipolar, and does run in my family. I have to be careful of it. Right now, normally I'd be, a lot more active right now, but I have a pinched nerve that they're going to do a cortisone shot for, and I'm going to start working out again on Monday. But I would say that to get addicted to anything, I'd rather be addicted to exercise than anything. But yes, it is real. It is something that runs in my family. We've all pretty much had to deal with some form of addiction in the family. So do you understand that part of it, the addiction factor?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
We're gonna actually we have 5 minutes left, and I was gonna save it to you, but we're gonna take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I'm gonna pass the show over to you.
Okay, sweet.
Yourself, or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shout-outs, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link, so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, you can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from, and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre, buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities, and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
Keith Andrew, long hair is the talented and beautiful Paisley BlackBurn. In the last 5 minutes left, I'm passing the show over to you. You can ask me anything you want, but the first thing I do want to ask you is, are you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Stage 32, Twitter, all of those social medias? Passing the show over to you for the last 5 minutes. This is your time.
Okay, yeah, I am on social media. Honestly, the only social media I really use a lot is Facebook, and you can look me up on Facebook, Paisley BlackBurn. And now you know what I look like. I do have a Twitter account. I just never really use it. I got Snapchat, Instagram, all that. I forgot even the log. As an actor, they encourage us to be, going on social media really hardcore. So I'll probably have to start doing that. I'm trying to think what else I can say to wrap this up. Yeah, this has been a fun interview. Yeah, talking about like ghosts and paranormal and stuff like that. And actually, my dream role would be to play a paranormal investigator in a movie or something. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. There's always the independent filmmakers are where all the creativity is. You're not going to get creativity out of Hollywood. You're going to get it from your indie filmmakers. Because they're not hindered. Nobody's looking over their back micromanaging them. Or heck, maybe I'll just write a movie and cast a bunch of us to play paranormal investigators. But I think it's a good thing you're doing. I mean, those of us that have what quote unquote a disability, it's a when I first got diagnosed, I fought it. I was very angry. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be different. And then I broke down. I was in the psych ward because a bunch of stuff had happened. My daughter had gotten molested. I slipped and broke my ice on the wrist. At the hospital, I punched my ex-mother-in-law because they wouldn't let me take my daughter. This all happened one night. I had a major nervous breakdown, wound up in the psych ward. That's when they made the diagnosis, and I fought it. I was very unhappy with that diagnosis. But then one night, I was in the bed, and I just started crying, and then I just said to myself, I accept. When I accepted, when I finally came to that acceptance, is when everything changed. And now I'm at a very peaceful acceptance. I accept that it is who I am. I would not be the actor I am without it. I use it for that purpose, and the way I regulate it is through a healthy diet and a lot of exercise. But like I said, I have not worked out in about 5 weeks now because I have a pinched nerve that they're going to do a cortisone shot for. So they said I could start working out again. So I'm going to start Monday. And that always helps elevate mood chemicals and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, this was fun. I wouldn't mind jumping on and doing another chat sometime.
No, absolutely. I don't know if you even heard that.
What was it?
I think like crack of thunder or a backfire or something.
I saw you look. Yeah, I saw you look. I was like, what do you hear? So, yeah, New York's a cool state. I've never been. My sister is a huge fan of New York. I want to go sometime to visit. I'm sure it'll happen. I've heard good things about the state. My sister just loves the people there and loves the culture and how diverse it is and everything, and no, I have to admit, my friends from New York, I really like them. They tell it like it is. What you see with them is what you get. There's none of this fake two-faced BS. It's all, they put it on the table who they are, and I admire that a lot.
No, absolutely.
Guys, fuck.
So I do have a couple questions for you off the air. We're wrapping up our interview segment. The last question I will ask you is how I wrap up all my interviews. It's going on the record. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being interviewed, how do you feel now?
I felt kind of honored, actually. To be asked to be a guest on someone's show is is pretty sweet. It's kind of cool. I didn't know what to expect, but after being here as your guest, I liked it. We talked and we got along well. There was none of this awkwardness that you might think would happen in an interview with someone you don't know. So you've definitely, the handicap you're talking about, the learning disability, you've overcome. You're doing great. And, you get to interview people. That's a wonderful thing. And you know how to keep the conversation going. And you've asked very interesting questions. Like I said, we ought to do a show on conspiracy theories, because I could really talk your socks off on that. But I've been called crazy. I don't think I've ever been accused of being called sane.
Hey, no one's perfect. But I do have a couple questions off the air about wrapping up our interview segment. It was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and then I'm looking forward to building a friendship with you.
I'm looking forward to it as well.